KKHT wants you to meet three of the classiest guys in real estate.
I am Chris Kelso, the maestro of mortgage.
I am Rob Cook, the godfather of real estate.
And I'm Joe Orsack, the king of credit swing. And together, we're
the Real Estate Rat Pack.
Much like us, real estate right now is smoking hot. So whether it's buying, selling, or owning, you need to check out the Real Estate Rat Pack.
They're here to take your calls and answer your questions live. Call now 1-800-808-5548. And now, the Real Estate Rat Pack!
There it is, Rob.
I'm the straight guy.
Yeah, there it is every time.
Every time I get
time.
stereo. When one of you's gone, though, it's like
it changes.
Something's missing.
It changes. It absolutely does change.
We are very much confusing our animals. I can't decide if we're rats or wolves.
Yeah. I think we're a combination of both of them. But the very important question is, what does a fox say? We have a great show in store for us today.
Yeah, we do.
We got some great guests in the studio. We're going to get to right away.
We have some HR leadership. They're realtors, but they're also in our HR Houston Association of Realtor Leadership. And first up is Nancy Furst.
Nancy, how you doing?
Chair-elect.
Great, and thank you for having me here this morning.
We wouldn't have missed it for anything. One of the things we've been talking about is getting you on board. It's a matter of getting the right timing, I guess. And so Rob was able to get that worked out, and we have the chairwoman-elect for HAR.
And so you'll be chairman for 2015. When are you being installed, Nancy?
I am going to be installed December the 10th, Wednesday, at noon at the River Oaks Country Club.
Which is a great venue, stuff like that. So
it's a beautiful venue, and they're working so well with Lori Carper, our events director with HAR.
Does a great job. Well, one of the things we often do here is we always love, most people didn't start their careers out being in real estate. So I always love to know, how'd that happen?
How did I get into real estate? Well, many moons ago.
Who roped you into it?
I was working for a real estate and oil and gas attorney at a large law firm. And so I had graduated to paralegal, and he wanted me to go to law school. Well, simultaneously, I had recently gotten married, and then we had started a family. And so it was just not the right timing in my life to make a major move like that. And as life would have it, you go on and you have your family, and then other things happened and divorce came in. So then we just had to get a job. And I had a very good job at a major company. And they had a reduction in workforce. And so I contemplated what I wanted to do. And I started taking temp jobs at different law firms and specializing in real estate and oil and gas. So I did that for a while. Then one day I met Mr. Furst and we got married. And he said, "What would you really like to do?" And I said, "I think I would like to get into real estate." So he said, "Go talk to your friend in Pearland." And he said, "Whatever you want to do, I'm behind you 100%. So I went and talked to my friend in Pearland, went to school, passed both parts of the exam on the first try, and as they say, the rest is history. I started working in a small firm in Pearland that grew to a medium-sized firm.
And now you're with a big firm.
And I was just with a company,
Hathaway
Home Services,
Anderson Properties.
That Warren Buffett guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And that Mike Huff guy.
And that Mike Huff guy. So anyway, tell me how you got into leadership. I remember I'd already been in the food chain, as we call it, ahead of time when you started coming in. What kind of enticed you to get into the leadership track?
Okay. In the Bay Area, they have the political liaison group out there. And Jan Briggs said, "You have got to join the Bay Area PAL group." And I said, "Oh, Jan, I really don't have a whole lot of time." And she said, "Oh, but you must come to one meeting. If you don't like it, okay." I went, and the hot topic was eminent domain. Well, eminent domain is a passion of mine. And so that hooked me, and I got involved in political and governmental affairs.
Deeply. And you were a contact person for Ted Cruz.
Yes, I knew. I've known his mother and the family since Mr. Cruz was 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
So even if he had been a member of the Purple Party, I would have been
The
his
Purple Party.
federal political coordinator.
And
Party headed by
let them know
Prince.
what a PALS group is, a political group for that particular area. We have a tree pack, and we're going to be talking a little bit about that later.
Well, and
But
most people might not know what eminent domain is
Yes.
either, by the way.
It is the taking of private property
Squiggly.
for an entity's gain.
Right.
And it's usually a government for the public good is what it's designed to do.
It's designed to do, but there have been abuses
Right.
where they took private property
Yes.
for a developer's benefit.
And that's not how they couched it, though. Now,
Right.
It actually happened, I think, in the southeast part of the state, where they had taken something, and it was like warehouse, but it wasn't the highest and best use, so it ended up going to a developer for what they're trying to do is raise the tax base.
Correct.
And have a lot more expensive properties, and then
And there was a famous case here in Houston at San Felipe and Post Oak,
talk about that.
and so the elderly brothers filed suit against the city, and it was presented to them as it would be a road easement, and so they were okay with that, but then the rest of their small piece of property was going to be for a developer's use, and so then that was settled.
And that TREPAC was the Texas Real Estate Political Action Committee, actually got on board with this issue, and we actually have an amendment got passed. I think it was in 2011. That
Correct.
To identify what eminent domain is and what can be done, and then it's not going to go for private usage.
Exactly.
Correct.
And if it is not used for the intended purpose that it was purchased, the owner of the land gets to buy it back at that same price. So that was a huge kudos.
That was a huge win for the
For Texas.
TREPAC, yeah,
Right.
absolutely, and stuff like
And
that.
for private property owners.
Well, and that, a lot of people. One of the things that is our charge as realtors is to protect private property rights, and we don't get that message out very often. They think it's all about. Anytime we go do something politically, it's never for us as operating as realtors. It's always to protect property rights, and we've done a lot of things. Now, talk a little bit about what we've accomplished.
Well, there are many things. I just
She caught you off guard with the two minute. Yeah.
That's not a gang sign. That's 2 minutes.
I just got the high sign, guys. Okay. Sorry
She's
about
throwing
that.
gang signs again.
At least we don't use the hook anymore. That
Yeah.
people really got intimidated.
She's like, is that V? Are you victory? Or
Sorry about that.
You gotta watch her. She's in a rough game.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're talking about
Don't make eye contact.
about some of
Okay.
the accomplishments as realtors.
Accomplishments, yeah.
The accomplishments besides the eminent domain, we the ad valorem taxes are monitored very closely, and Kenya can bring up some more specifics as she talks about.
Well, every legislative year they try to sneak in that we have mandatory price disclosure, and they sneak
Right.
into other bills. When they look at about 5,000 bills a year.
politicians try to sneak things in?
Yeah, can you believe it?
Can you imagine?
I have
that?
never heard of that before.
And we are one of a few states that it is not required to disclose prices.
Mm-hmm.
You can disclose; it's not illegal to disclose it, but
Right.
it's not
We're
required.
It's not required to,
Yeah.
right.
And
We're a
so, of course,
non-disclosure
if you ever notice, Harris County always likes to send out something said, "What'd you pay for your house?" and things like that.
Right.
I always advise people tear that up, and you don't have to send it in.
Well, the one thing I tell everybody is if you want to see how strong our pack is here in Texas, look at where Texas real estate is as compared to any other part of the nation.
We are the number one pack in the state.
We're the number one pack. We also, if you look at just in general, Texas is the strongest real estate market. Why? It's a direct relationship and correlation to how strong and how the pack fights for what you're saying, what the consumer doesn't know could hurt them.
Yeah, exactly. And we do it for consumers.
And let me just tell you this. Did you realize that Bob Hale, the CEO of HAR, initiated the PAC when he was
Yes,
the
I
lobbyist
did know that.
at the state association?
He is an attorney by trade, and actually
Yes.
over there. I think
You
we're
know,
coming up against a break here.
we are going to have to come up against a break right now, so we're going to continue to talk about that a little bit more and get Kenya back on board. But stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Feet do things that they should do. You know what? You're lovely, you know what, you're so lovely, and oh, what you do to me.